Hey guys, ladies and dudes, how's it going? VanLiere here, Supernatural Gonzo, your homie. Um, I want to do these for a lot of the pieces, the stories on the site. I'd like to do a little video intro of about what happened. Some folks don't, aren't into reading too much, and I get it. Uh, so this experience, what has now been coined the Mojave Triangle, uh, it's one of those things like you're living a movie. Like, is this really happening? Am I in a sci-fi movie right now? That's what happened with this one. So here we go. Um, it was, I believe, 2010. Um, I've got it in the story. It was in the winter of 2010, and my girlfriend and I had gone out to Anza Borrego Desert to camp, to Big Blair Valley, which is in East San Diego County. It's south of Palm Springs, near the Salton Sea. Um, uh, it's a huge state park, Anza Borrego State Park. It's like the size of a lot of national parks, good sized national parks. It's a massive swath of desert and mountain terrain, and it's absolutely gorgeous and incredible. I highly recommend, if you've never been out there, check it out. It goes from higher elevation, forested mountain range, all the way down into trippy, far out desert terrain. And until I started going out there, um, let's just say after going out there more and more, I started realizing that there's some major supernatural, paranormal energies or forces in that place. I do believe that there are places across the planet where, certain energies come together, or cosmic circumstances that bring in trippy cosmic anomalies, possibly ley line energies in some cases. But I believe there are places where there's portals to other dimensions, even stargates, perhaps entrances or portals to Hollow Earth, where we have a whole cornucopia of supernatural beings. I really do believe that. So we're in Big Blair Valley in Anza Borrego Desert. Next to it is Little Blair Valley, and this place is, I mean, it's for the stars. Backpacker Magazine actually posted a picture one time of a Milky Way shot there that I believe it's one of the best places for stargazing in the world. I saw the Perseids meteor shower there once, and we huddled down into camp before the sun went down, and even when it was still the fading daylight, you could see these meteors coming in at this place with smoke and fire coming off the back. Yeah, that's how incredible this spot is. So we're at Big Blair Valley in the winter. So we had the place to ourselves, and it's this huge valley, with mountains around it, and some of these mountains, go head up there. There's on the western side of Anza, Borrego, it goes up to like close to 7,000 feet or more into the Cleveland National Forest. So it's very dynamic, and then you have beautiful forests and conifer forests up there, and so it's very diverse ecosystems and clean, beautiful air that you can see forever. So this was the morning after we camped there that night. I was making some cowboy coffee, and it was just her and I in this expansive, gorgeous valley. And then what happened, I can only describe as something like out of a sci-fi movie. I didn't know if I was in War of the Worlds or something. Transformers. This is tripped out. So I'm making the coffee. My girlfriend is nearby, and I'm not going to do this any justice, but I'm going to try to give you an inkling of what this sound was that happened. Out of nowhere, there were two sonic sounds from the heavens. And these were louder than any thunder I've ever heard in my life. It was what I might describe as like a sonic energy weapon of the gods, or a sonic blast from the gods. But in succession, there were two sonic emissions, and it kind of went like this. Didn't do that any justice, but. And then whatever it was struck the earth, and an earthquake happened with each one. There were two. Literally to where I stepped away, like moved way away from the nearby mountains in case like boulders were going to come down. We were both then frozen in shock, awe, and terror. But it was so trippy because it's one of those things where you're terrified, but you're also fascinated at the same time, and you're in some limbo of incredulity and amazement, And we were in this little alcove there in the valley. So the main part of the valley was straight ahead and to the left. Well, we were both frozen for a while, and where neither one of us even could speak for quite some time. And then we connected. I made sure, she was okay, and we were like, what was that? We didn't see anything at this point. So I then walked out from this alcove out into the main part of the valley, and the shit that was going through my head, I tell you, I honestly didn't know if I was going to possibly see like a War of the Worlds scenario with something, climbing over the distant mountains. But got out there and all was quiet. The earthquakes were brief. It just happened with whatever that sonic sound was striking the earth. But we didn't see anything, and I was surprised, befuddled, and my brain was still racing. What the fuck was that? So then maybe 10 minutes later, we're driving down the dirt road to go on a hike. And I looked up, and I saw this object. I don't know if it was even a craft because of what this thing did. Now, there are some UFOs, triangular UFOs out there. There's one I think has been maybe reported the most that you can tell is of a corporeal physical material. And that one might very possibly be a reverse engineered extraterrestrial craft. But I have not seen that one in my life, but it sounds amazing. But this one, it was out there. I mean, I would say it was probably anywhere from at like 8,000 to 10,000 feet. It's daylight, and it was the predominant form it was in most of the time was triangular, and it had the lines of the triangle were this beautiful turquoise, semi-translucent blue, like a beautiful, almost neon turquoise. And then at the end of each point were these white, effulgent orbs. I mean, as white as the glowing light of Venus. It was beautiful. And so she quick, I said, stop the truck. And, we popped out and we're just looking at this thing. And then what it did, get this really blew me away. It was amorphously changing like water into other Platonic shapes. This later got me thinking of the sacred geometry of the Platonic solids, of the Platonic shape itself, and what cosmic energies, that brings in. It was a big part of the construction of these, ancient civilizations. It's shape means a lot. But this thing was, changing. It would, like water, and it changed into a cylinder at one point, a square, a rectangle, and like water, tripped out. We're like, and then this really blew me away. It did the disappear and reappear thing in another location. It did that a number of times. But predominantly it was in the shape of the triangle. That was its main go-to. And So I had to guess. Deductive reasoning was that whatever the sonic energy device was, and I don't know if it was a weapon. I mean, it wasn't trying to hurt us or anything, but perhaps it was even sending healing energies into the earth. But I definitely believe that sonic blast was, or sonic emission was from this craft or this object, this being or beings. The way, I mean, the way this thing did its thing, it could have even been, you know, an angelic being, you know, from one of the angelic hierarchies. If you believe in that sort of thing, there are angelic hierarchies from, you know, the Western perspective. It starts out with the angeloi, then the archangels or archangeloi. Then you have the exousiai, and the kairiotetes dynamis. Cherubim, seraphim, thrones. There's another one too, but I'm spacing it right now. But this, who knows? I mean, perhaps this was an angelic being or beings. So that event was probably about 3.5 minutes, and then it disappeared, and we were like, just the feeling you have that I had when I was so blessed to witness something like this. It's surreal. You know, you're like in this limbo afterward. You know, like, whoa, am I still in reality? But you're up on this cloud too of just, you're totally juiced. So we went and did our hike. We stayed there for another night. Now get this is really good. The next day, I had picked out a hike to where the ancient Kumeyaay Native Americans did a lot of it was a holy place for them, and it's a place of Kumeyaay pictographs going back roughly 6,000 years or more, and it was where their shaman did different spiritual rituals, like, so it's hypothesized, of dream search. Sometimes it was a coming of age for younger people, but it was a very sacred place for them, and that's why they did these pictographs, which you can still go see. And they're right there in Big Blair Valley, or these I think were possibly in Little Blair Valley, right nearby. But so we go there the next day, and get this. This is where I really tripped out. There were a number of things on this big monolithic rock that they had drawn. you could see one looked like a double helix DNA strand, or Fibonacci spiral, some kind of spiral of life. There was other depictions of the sun and different iconography. But what caught my eye, what absolutely blew me away, was there it was. There it was, that craft in the triangular form. I posted it in the article here, the photo I took. Even where you could see the orb at the top, and then if you look on the two bottom points, you can see where I believe they had orbs there, but it had faded through time, 6,000 years. And I mean, they could have possibly been depicting it in its transition of disappearing. Here also is a kicker. My girlfriend had the good sense when we got back to civilization to check the internet to see if any this craft had been reported by anyone else out there. She thought of that. This is pretty early internet, around 2010, and she found where a San Diego news station had actually interviewed this woman, Maritza Scandunas, who had a telephoto lens. She was also out there in Anza, Borrego, and she got pictures of this thing, of the Mojave Triangle. That's what it's referred to now. And yeah, she got some really good pictures, and this news station actually interviewed her, and I've posted one of her pictures of it. In this photo, she even said it was starting to do the disappear thing, so that's why you don't see the translucent blue lines, but you do see the orbs. And she was with her husband and kids. Might have been just one child, but she was with her family, and they all saw it. Since then, it was shortly after that the show UFO Hunters did a story on the same craft, and they caught it on video, also in the Mojave Desert, but they were further north. But yeah, it just blew me away with the Kumeyaay Native Americans drew this thing, 6,000 years ago plus. So it's been around. And they must have had some kind of, reverence for it to be, depicted in this holy place. And the way it was depicted, I didn't get any sense of fear or any kind of malevolence sensed by them from this craft or cosmic being. So trip on this. I was theorizing, thinking like, what was that? What was the sonic energy emission that hit the Earth? What was that all about? Okay. Well, one theory, a couple theories. I mean, the one was possibly sending some kind of healing energy into Gaia, into Mother Earth. But also, trip on this, nearby is the Carrizo, the Navy Carrizo Impact Area. It's I believe it's called the Naval Carrizo Impact Area or Zone, where they do underground nuclear testing, and they explode nukes down in the earth. This happens. You know, the news doesn't cover stuff like this, but it happens frequently here in America. And so I theorize we're possibly these good beings taking out some nuclear weapons. Who knows? Did the sonic emission hit some nukes down there, and that's why there was the great shaking? Who knows? I'm gonna keep going down that rabbit hole. Anyways, here's the story. I hope you guys dig it. I promise any of the stories you read here did happen. It's not bullshit. I feel very blessed to have had the experiences I've had, and I hope to have many more. Reality is stranger than fiction. Catch you later.